All right, we are jumping straight into it today, right into a huge conflict that's been brewing on the Real Housewives of Potomac.
It's a big one. We're talking about Angel Massey and really her entire introduction to the group. It's been rocky,
To say the least. And the flashpoint, the moment it all really kicked off, was the Potomac and Ponies event.
which was hosted by Giselle Bryant and Wendy Osefo. And the issue wasn't just that Angel and her husband, Bobby Massey, were late.
No, they're massively late. I mean, 2 full hours.
2 hours. In the world of filming a TV show, that's basically an eternity. It's a huge deal.
And for Giselle, you could just see it on her face. She used the word undone. And coming from Giselle, who is usually so composed.
Oh, that's a strong word for her. It tells you everything.
Mm.
But her frustration wasn't really just about them being late. It was about how they handled it when they finally arrived.
Right. It was the lack of an apology, the attitude.
Exactly. So Bobby Massey comes in and says the line that just lit the fuse.
Get there when we get there.
And that was it. For Giselle, that was a complete dismissal of her time, of Wendy's time, of the entire event.
She said his energy was all wrong. She was expecting, a simple, hey, so sorry we're late, the babysitter got lost, traffic was insane.
Some kind of social grace, anything. But instead, what she got felt like defiance, like their time was just more important.
She even said they could turn your love around and go home if that was going to be their attitude.
Yeah, her point was pretty clear. Bobby should just be nice all the time. Showing up that late is one thing, but then to be rude about it.
It's a double offense. You've already disrespected the hosts by being late, and then you compound it with that comment.
And Ashley Darby's take on it was really interesting.
It was. She seemed genuinely surprised by Bobby's reaction.
Because he's normally so quiet, he doesn't really say much. She called it misdirected energy.
Which is the perfect way to describe it because, as Ashley pointed out, nobody had done anything to him. They were actually all kind of excited for Angel to be there.
Right. They wanted her to come out of her shell to engage with the group. So for them to arrive with this defensive posture was just confusing.
That phrase misdirected energy makes it sound like they were already stressed about something else and just projected it onto Giselle and Wendy.
Well, and Jazzy Rideau and Tia Glover tried to give them an out. They said, the Masseys were still trying to get settled.
But Giselle was not having any of that.
Not for a second. Her comeback was instant. We all have children.
We're all busy. Which is her way of saying that personal problems aren't an excuse to break the social contract of the group. Everyone's juggling things.
Exactly. You still have to show up and respect people's time, especially when you're filming.
So that was the cast's perspective. But then you have Angel's side of the story, which she gave later. And it's a completely different reality.
It's a total reversal. Her entire defense is built on the chaos of her move. She literally said, all my shit was in boxes.
And from that, she builds this argument that she was actually doing them a favor by even showing up.
Yeah, that's the core of it. She said she had to fish around in all these boxes just to find her cowgirl hat for the party's theme.
So in her mind, the effort she put in should have been appreciated, regardless of when she arrived.
She felt she graced them with my presence. I mean, that's a direct quote. And that it was very kind of me to come at all.
She argued that anyone else in her situation just wouldn't have gone. They would have given themselves grace and space to chill.
And to be fair, she did mention a practical issue. She said her babysitter was late because they couldn't find the new house.
Okay, that's a legitimate problem. But the central conflict here is just fascinating. Angel's view is, look at the personal sacrifice I made. Well, the cast's view is, your lateness and attitude canceled out any sacrifice you made.
It's a clash of worlds.
Yeah.
Angel is using her real-life chaos as a reason to break the rules of this very structured reality TV world.
She's basically saying, my real life is more important than your party.
And in that environment, that's almost always going to be interpreted as arrogance, which, of course, the other women immediately used against her.
Oh, immediately. Which brings us to Stacey Rush and the whole obsession claim.
Right. Stacey weaponized the lateness, saying that if Angel is so obsessed with Wendy, she should have made a point to be on time to an event Wendy was co-hosting.
It's such a classic, twisted reality TV argument, using a lack of respect to prove an unhealthy amount of interest.
But Stacey and Wendy did agree on the bigger picture. They felt Angel just wasn't invested in building relationships with them.
Wendy called it a red flag, that Angel hadn't found her footing and just seemed to be keeping her distance from everyone.
And this is where Wendy's analysis gets really sharp. She brings up the idea of a double standard.
Yes. This was, I think, the most insightful part of the whole conversation.
Wendy points out that Angel seems to react very differently depending on who is disrespecting her.
She says that when veterans like Ashley or Giselle come for her, and she brings up a specific example of actually bringing a catfish to a party for her.
Right, just playing in her face.
When they do that, Angel just sits there on mute. She doesn't say a word. But with Wendy, she comes out with all this fire and energy.
It's a brilliant observation from Wendy. She's basically suggesting Angel's fight with her is strategic.
That she's picking a fight with a softer target, another newcomer, instead of challenging the queens of the show, Giselle and Ashley.
Right, because they hold the power. They control the narrative. So is it real outrage, or is it a calculated move to get screen time by feuding with a peer?
Wendy's point is, if you're going to be this person who stands up to disrespect, you have to do it consistently.
Otherwise, it just looks like you're selectively deploying your anger for maximum personal gain. And by staying silent with Ashley, Angel kind of proves Wendy's point.
And speaking of Ashley, that whole thing was just the appetizer. The main event was the eviction rumor.
Oh, yeah. When Ashley confronted Angel about her housing situation at the party, Angel's response was just scorching earth.
She didn't hold back at all. She immediately called Ashley so immature at her age and childish.
Accusing her of trying to find a moment from her, that's a direct shot, basically saying Ashley's just performing for the cameras.
And the labels she used were so intense. She called Ashley nasty, a liar.
And said she tries to deflect all that's wrong with her life and put it on somebody else. That's not just a disagreement, that's a full-on character assassination.
And the way she ended it was so dramatic. She declared she was calling back all the good and kind energy she had for Ashley.
And that from now on, she would act like she no longer exists.
I mean, that is a theatrical cancellation of a friendship. It's designed for maximum impact, to position herself on the moral high ground.
And it was all triggered by this rumor that was spreading through the cast that Angel had been evicted.
Or that she only moved to Maryland in the first place for the show. That one seemed to really bother her.
You could tell. Angel felt she had to address it head on. She called the eviction story an evil rumor and went to great lengths to clear it up.
Her explanation was very specific. She said the reason they had to move out of their rental in Maryland was just a miscommunication.
Yeah, about the end date of their short-term lease. It wasn't, because they couldn't pay the rent or got kicked out. She was adamant about that.
And she framed it within the context of their life as an NFL family.
Right, saying they're used to moving on short notice, that this kind of chaos is just normal for them. She was defending herself not just as a cast member, but as a mother and a wife.
She was fighting to control the narrative. To her, the cast immediately jumped to the worst, most shameful conclusion, eviction, instead of just assuming it was a logistical issue.
And she saw Ashley pushing that rumor as proof of her character, saying it showed how evil she really is. Her reputation management is clearly a huge priority for her.
But the rumor that she moved there just to be on the show, that felt like an attack on her very authenticity.
And she shut that down hard.
Right.
She said, I have been in Maryland since before I joined this group. She even gave a timeline.
She said she contacted Kiarna Stewart for a realtor back in November of 2023.
Which is verifiable. It's a specific detail designed to kill the rumor. And she gave a business reason for being there, too, expanding their company, Wonderland Outdoors.
So she's establishing a foundation for her being in the DMV that has nothing to do with Bravo.
And her final point on it was maybe the most powerful. She said, I'm not a masochist. And that she has enough of her own success as Angel Elliott that she doesn't have to join the group to form an identity.
That's the ultimate newcomer power move, claiming you don't need the show, that you're already whole without it.
It's a fascinating strategy. She's fighting the narratives from the inside with facts and timelines, which is a perfect pivot to Beverly Hills.
It really is, because over there, Erika Jayne is using the exact opposite strategy.
Complete and total withdrawal. If Angel is fighting the story, Erika is just refusing to provide a story to fight over.
We're talking, of course, about her new relationship with John Shrek McPhee. She has made it a point to make sure none of her castmates have even met him.
And she said it's very intentional. She knows from her past how toxic the show can be for a relationship. She's learned her lesson the hard way.
It's pure risk mitigation. In a post-Tom Girardi world, any new person she brings into her life is immediately a target.
A target for the press, for the public, and for the other women on the cast. By keeping him completely separate, she's protecting him.
She's protecting the peace. If the other housewives don't know him, they can't talk about him. They can't offer an opinion. They can't gossip.
It's an ironclad defense. It's genius, really. A bit extreme, maybe, but You can't blame her.
Not at all. We do know a little bit about him, though. They've been dating quietly for about 6 months.
And they met in London. The story is kind of random. Erika ran into Heidi Montag at an event, and he was with them.
Because he works as a private security guard for Heidi and Spencer Pratt.
Which is interesting. He's not some LA power player or a billionaire.
Yeah.
He seems normal, grounded.
And he's clearly very close with them. He's the godfather to their son, Gunnar. That implies a level of trust and stability that must be very appealing to Erika right now.
And she even admitted it herself in this really self-aware moment. She said she has the worst taste in men in her friend group.
But then she followed it up by saying her new partner is a very nice person.
That awareness is everything. It shows she's consciously trying to break a pattern. And the fact that the relationship is serious enough that they're spending the holidays together.
It suggests this is a real attempt at a healthy private relationship. It's built on connection, not for public consumption.
Which is so different from the drama consuming the rest of the cast, which Kathy Hilton recently gave her 2 cents on.
Oh, yes. Kathy weighed in on the huge rift between her sister Kyle, Dorit, and Erika.
And Kathy, being Kathy, hopes they can all reconcile. But her advice was really specific about the timing. She said they can't wait too long.
Or it will become out of sight, out of mind.
Which is such an insightful comment on how these reality TV friendships work. If you don't fix it in the moment, the on-camera drama just becomes the reality, and the gap becomes too wide to cross.
She also teased that this season has multiple fights that are on the same level as a big Amsterdam argument from years ago.
And you have to remember how intense that was, with Kyle literally running away from Kim. For Kathy to say there are multiple fights like that, it tells you the group is completely fractured.
Then there was that mysterious line from the trailer with Kathy telling someone to read the room and know your place.
And when a reporter asked her about it, she was very coy. Just said she was trying to give her some advice.
The reporter thought it was aimed at the newcomer, Amanda Francis, but Kathy didn't confirm.
And that ambiguity is the point. Know your place works as a warning to anyone who's getting a little too big for their designer boots. It's Kathy, gently but firmly, reminding everyone about the social hierarchy in Beverly Hills.
But then we saw a completely different side of her when she was asked about Kyle's personal life, specifically Kyle's revelation about her relationship after Mauricio and saying gender isn't important to her.
Kathy's response was all love, pure and simple. She just said, well, I just want her to be happy.
And that life is too short.
In that moment, she wasn't the quirky socialite. She was just a sister supporting another sister. It was a really beautiful, grounding moment. She's putting Kyle's happiness above everything else.
It's a great reminder that underneath all the drama, there's a real family.
Definitely. But before we leave Beverly Hills, we have to talk about the new and, frankly, terrifying details about the home invasion at Kathy's house.
This happened during BravoCon weekend, and the details are just wild.
She said the burglars broke some glass during a rainstorm. Her husband, Rick Hilton, was home and heard it.
And his first reaction was to get a shotgun.
A shotgun. Their security guard eventually got there, and the burglars ran off. But here's the craziest part. After they were gone, Rick started shooting the gun out of his office in the air.
Shooting it in the air, that's not self-defense. That sounds like pure, panicked, adrenaline-fueled reaction.
It just shows you how terrified they were. Even with all their money and security in that moment, they felt completely vulnerable. It's a chilling image.
It really is. Okay, let's move away from that intensity and do some coast-to-coast updates, starting with Shep Rose from Southern Charm.
Shep seems to be on a real journey of self-discovery, which is not something I ever expected to say.
Me neither. First off, he's still super close with Cameron Eubanks.
Yeah, he confirmed they still text and talk all the time. He even called her his little Yoda for life advice.
That friendship has always been a grounding force for him. It's nice to hear it's still going strong, even after she left the show.
But the really big news is his second book. His first one was called Average Expectations, Lessons in Lowering the Bar.
Which was so perfectly Shep.
Well, get ready for the new Shep. The second memoir is titled It's Nothing in Moderation, A Psychedelic Reckoning with Excess.
Whoa, that is a pivot.
A massive one. He said the book is about him going to do ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. He's going from celebrating his lazy charm to a full-on spiritual quest to confront his demons. That is a rebrand.
It's a very public commitment to changing his narrative. He's moving from the lovable rake to the reformed man who's seen the light. The book is supposed to be out in the spring.
And he's also working on something new with Whitney Sudler-Smith, an adventure show.
With shenanigans.
Yeah.
It seems like he's trying to find a way to still have his fun, but maybe in a more productive way.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. All right, let's finish our updates on a truly happy note in Orange County with Vicki Gunvalson.
This is just a lovely story. Her son's, Mike Wolfsmith, is finally back home in Coto de Casa.
He's been living in Europe for over a year, mostly in Spain, and you could tell how much Vicki missed him. She posted on Instagram, "He is finally home," with so many exclamation points.
And they immediately had a family dinner at her country club with her boyfriend, Michael Smith. Just a nice, normal family moment.
But the reunion was also bittersweet because their family pug, Walter, passed away over the summer while Mike was away.
Walter was 15. And Mike shared this really touching photo from Vicki's house. She had set up this little memorial for Walter on a console table.
With his ashes in an urn, Mike called it Walter's new spot. It was so thoughtful of Vicki to do that for him.
It really was. And he also shared a funny painting of Walter dressed as a chef, calling him Chef Walt. It was that perfect mix of sadness and happy memories.
It brings everything full circle. Remember Vicki said when she visited Mike in Spain, he told her, "I am home," and it broke her heart.
Because for her, home was Coto, with her family, with Walter. So having Mike physically back there, it's a complete restoration for her. It's what she's always wanted.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, for our final deep dive, let's talk about Lisa Vanderpump and the future of Vanderpump Rules.
There have been a lot of rumors that the reboot might be canceled, even though it's been doing well on Peacock. But LVP is not having any of it.
Not at all. Her response to the haters was classic LVP. Screw the naysayers.
She is all in on this new cast, and her definition of success is just perfect for her. She said she hopes the new cast will be a pain in my ass next year.
Because, as she says, that's when you know the show's a success.
Her entire business model is based on generating chaos. Peace and quiet is failure. Maximum drama is success. She sees conflict as the fuel that keeps the show running.
And she compared this new cast to the original group, saying you just put everybody together and it happens.
She thinks this new group has that same organic, explosive chemistry. She praised them for having depth and great personal stories.
But she did throw a little shade at the OGs. She mentioned that not all of your friends, meaning the original cast members, have been very supportive of the new people.
That's her acknowledging the turf war that's happening.
Yeah.
The old guard feels threatened, and LVP is making it clear that she's on the side of the future, on the side of change.
And finally, she gave a little update on her relationship with Kristen Dowd.
Which has always been complicated. She fired her after all.
Right. And LVP admitted, "We've never had a great relationship." But her tone was actually pretty soft.
It was. She wished Kristen well. She said Kristen is a new mom, she's growing up, and seems to be in a happier place.
It felt like LVP was acknowledging Kristen's personal growth from a very safe distance. Not quite forgiveness, but an acceptance of her evolution.
It really ties into this whole theme we've been seeing. Everyone we've talked about is trying to control their own narrative.
Angel Massey is in the trenches, fighting every rumor with facts and timelines, trying to define herself against the group's perception of her.
She's fighting from the inside. And then you have Erika Jane, who has perfected the opposite approach. Total external control, walling off the most important part of her life so no one can even touch it.
No engagement, just separation.
And Shep Rose is trying a public rebrand, documenting a whole spiritual journey to rewrite his story from party boy to enlightened man.
While LVP is betting on no narrative at all, just pure, unadulterated chaos, hoping that happens, is still a winning formula.
It all brings us to this final thought. When your entire world is under a microscope and you're surrounded by people whose job it is to create drama out of your life, what's the better defense?
Is it better to do what Angel does? To get in there and fight every accusation, to provide receipts and correct the record, to control the story from the inside?
Or is it more effective to do what Erika does? To simply wall off the things that matter most, to refuse to give them any material to work with in the first place?
Which strategy really gives you more protection in a world that's just built on spectacle? Is it better to fight the story or to just refuse to be in the story at all? Something to think about.